All right, guys, it's Thor Sandalwood, and today we're going to switch things up a little bit. Um, we've been doing a lot of cryptocurrency readings for the last month and a half, so I decided to switch it up today because everyone's talking about this big fight that's supposed to happen with Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather. And boxing always, when we hear about these big boxing matches, it's always a big deal. They become very sensationalized. And to be honest, I guess I didn't actually know a lot about Logan Paul and who he is. But apparently he got really huge on YouTube at one point, and then he went into boxing. And so this match that they're having is really an exhibition fight. So that's what's really interesting about what's going on. And I remember a few years ago, what was that, 6 years ago? I remember, no, not 6 years ago. It was like 4 or 5 years ago. I remember watching when Floyd Mayweather fought Conor McGregor. And I remember watching that free on Facebook. Somebody was streaming it live, so I was watching it free. So that was pretty cool. So today we're going to really take a look at Floyd Mayweather, or not Floyd, Logan Paul. We're going to look at his chart. We're going to analyze the chart a little bit to see what we can get out of it. And we'll see, if there's something showing if he could be leaning towards a win in this situation. And the one thing I do have to tell you guys is I can't find Floyd Mayweather's birth time. So I really can't make like a super solid prediction on this because I can't see Floyd Mayweather's chart. If there's no birth time, it's pretty much like we can't generate a chart. So we're just going to look at Logan Paul's. Is it possible that he could win? We want to look and see what tendencies are there. And I saw quite a bit of things when I looked at the chart really fast. But we're going to go see what we can find out about this whole stuff. Let's check it out, guys. And of course, guys, as a disclaimer, these are my predictions alone. It's using my interpretation of astrology. So don't be making bets on this stuff, okay, guys? So let's take a look. This is Logan Paul's chart right here. And I'm going to pull it up on my end. One of the things you can notice with his chart is his first house right there is going to be Capricorn. This is the first house when we're looking at a Vedic astrology or Indian, or sometimes people call it Hindu astrology, by the way. So that's what we see in there. First house, Capricorn. He's got Saturn in the second house there. So what I'm going to really look at, that's his first lord, by the way. What we're going to look at is we're going to just kind of briefly go through the chart here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to look at his Mahadasha and Bhukti to see what kind of predictions we can make right now during this period. And it's amazing, but he's entering this Sun Mahadasha. He just entered it like literally weeks ago. So that's huge because Sun Mahadasha is such a hot and fast Mahadasha. It's the shortest Mahadasha. It's only 6 years long, and it moves very quick. It's hot. It's fast. So that's where I was like looking at it going, okay, we're going to have to check out how this energy goes with this. So let's take a look at this, guys. Oops, let me see if... Okay, so let me clean the chart up a little bit. One of the things I'm looking at is someone told me that that Logan Paul apparently they watched it on other YouTube videos, or they saw it noted that they said that he has sociopathic tendencies. So I was also going to look in the chart and see if we can see that as well. Now I don't know. I've never watched any of his videos, so I have no idea. I've just heard that him and Jake are very outlandish kind of people. Well, let's take a look. So you guys, when Saturn's in the second house, Saturn can somewhat be harmful to money and finances, but I don't think he has a problem there, obviously. But one thing that Saturn does for sure when it's in the second house is a lot of what second house represents in our chart is your concept of self-worth, okay? So people that have Saturn in self-worth, they're going to have, or Saturn in second house, they're usually going to have low self-esteem. And, you know, it might manifest as them doing these very grandiose things that try to make up for this sense of low self-esteem that usually, when it's second house, it's usually the family, the origin family, generated this concept of low self-worth in the native that has this type of chart. So a lot of what we can see is, and especially with seeing Rahu in the 10th house, we can see really this desperate need for attention. It's a desperate need, like, I want to be seen, I want to be seen. And that's really big obsession when Rahu's in the 10th house, as we'll see. So Saturn's going to be also aspecting the 4th house. It's going to be aspecting the 8th house, and it's going to be aspecting the 11th house there. That's important to note. So this Saturn aspect, you know, it can make it kind of difficult to have friends. Like I heard one time they were living together with this YouTube thing, and things went really bad there because of the aspect there. The 4th house, because of Saturn's aspect in the 4th house, it can mean troubles in the home. And it's aspecting the moon, if you guys noticed in the chart. So it also can show obstacles and different problems with his mother as well. So we're doing a little bit of a family reading too, right? So anyways, all this stuff really contributes to your sense of self-worth or self-concept. That's what we're looking at when we're looking at a chart. And then, of course, right here, guys, you can notice Sun is in the 3rd house and Mercury's in the 3rd house. Let me clean that. Oops, I think I didn't share the chart with you guys. Let me share the chart with you guys. So you guys notice that Sun is there in the 3rd house and Mercury is there in the 3rd house. Ironically, do you guys know that Sun represents things like going to the gym? I mean, 3rd house represents things like going to the gym, working out. So ironically, he's entering the Sun period. Sun's in the 3rd house. 3rd house would also represent a boxing ring. And he's going to end up in the ring with Floyd Mayweather. So at first, that shows me like, whoa, this is intense. But also, you know, having Sun in the 3rd house there, guys, gives a lot of bravery, because 3rd house shows bravery and courage. So when we have planets in the 3rd house, it can show how courageous we are. And 3rd house is kind of like a low-key Dashtana house in a lot of ways, because 3rd house it's because we're doing things courageously or we're acting bravely, it doesn't necessarily translate into that we're acting wisely or intelligently. Okay, so that's the thing. You can have a lot of bravado, but be kind of get yourself into a situation where you cause yourself a lot of pain or a lot of hurt. So that's why 3rd house is considered an upachaya house, or a low-key cruel house, okay? And then if we look over here, guys, we got Ketu in the 4th and Moon there in the 4th. Moon's the 7th lord. You know, in the Saturn aspect to the 4th, like I said, it could represent he had a lot of gaps in his education. There were problems at home. It was really strict. Things like that, guys. Now, obviously, when he gets married one day, he has Mars in the 7th house, which is going to be causing a little bit of a Kuja dosha there. And that means, you know, Kuja dosha typically in a marriage would represent lots of fights with the spouse or long-term partner. So he would have that tendency of anger. And in this chart, when you see things like that, you see Saturn in the 2nd house and you see Saturn aspecting the 4th house, what this usually represents is a lot of suppressed anger from childhood manifesting into your future relationships. That's usually what it represents. Mars in Cancer is debilitated, guys. So that's one thing also we can look at is Mars being in the sign of Cancer is debilitated. A debilitated Mars can represent literally anger issues. He doesn't know when to stop. Somebody that has a debilitated Mars in Cancer is going to be somebody that they go to anger management. there's not a lot of intelligence with Mars in his chart. Because remember, the level of dignity that a planet has, like if Mars was in Aries or Mars was in Scorpio, Mars is exalted in Capricorn. These are all signs that it does very well in. So it'd be a very intelligent planet. But when it's in Cancer, it's going to be a problem. It's going to have a lot of anger issues. So growing up, that could represent, like I said, the suppressed anger from the upbringing. Maybe he didn't get quite amount of attention that he needed. So that all can be expressed as Mars being debilitated. And again, I mean, this can show, you know, he has this level of bravado where he's going to go fight Floyd Mayweather, one of the #1 boxers in history. So the guy's never lost. So that shows a lot of bravado. If we go back to the chart again, guys, we're going to see also that, well, Jupiter in the 11th house, guys, is going to be very good for money, by the way. I'm just pointing that out. And he's going to make a fortune with this boxing match. There's no doubt about it. Okay, he's going to make a ton of money. But if you see Rahu in the 10th, remember 10th house represents our public visibility. It can represent career on a lot of levels. But with Rahu being in the 10th house, Rahu's like the imposter, okay? It's imposter syndrome, really. Like, he's going to do anything it takes to get into the public eye. Even if it's just crazy stunts, okay? And crazy things like an exhibition fight with Floyd Mayweather. So, Rahu in the 10th house can lead to a shameless sense of self-promotion. Like, it's such a compulsion and such a drive that he almost cannot contain himself with Rahu being in the 10th house. He has to promote himself. So there is a sense of shameless self-promotion, like I said, with it. Let's take a look at the chart again, guys. And so that Rahu in the 10th, it's not bad at all. It's just that, you know, we can see the motives there. Okay, so that's like a really quick look at it. Also, if we notice, Mars is also aspecting Rahu there. So we have that energy and drive entering the 10th house right there. So it's very interesting. And then we also have Mars aspecting the 2nd house, which means a lot of arguments and different things within the family of origin that could have happened. So in a lot of ways, when you see these charts, and I see these charts, like, you know, I have Saturn in the 2nd house, and I've had issues with self-worth. But, you know, a lot of these times you can see in the native that there's been a troubled childhood or something that's created a lot of these issues when we look at these charts like this. Let's look at the dashas, guys. So one of the things I noticed is if we go look at the dashas, he's in Sun Mahadasha. Check this out. So he just entered Sun Mahadasha literally like 3 weeks ago, okay? And this is only a 6-year Mahadasha. So if you notice, he entered it May of 2021, and he's going to be there till Moon Mahadasha starts in May of 2027. So that's pretty big deal right there, okay? So we're going to want to look at, okay, what does Sun represent in his chart? And you don't even really have to know exactly what Sun rules right away, even though it rules his 8th house, which we're going to see in just a second. But when you enter a Sun Mahadasha, anybody that enters Sun Mahadasha, it's going to be a time, anytime you enter Sun Mahadasha, it's going to be a time where the spotlight is on you. It's all about me, me, me. And it's not bad at all because this is the narrative of the self. Okay, this is the narrative of you're the movie star. When you're in Sun Mahadasha, you're going to be the #1 movie star. It's almost like you're an actor on the stage. This is when you're going to be the most charismatic. The spotlight's going to be on you. You're going to have more authority during this period, more charm, more charisma, just like the Sun has, right? So whether for good or bad. Now, a strong Sun for individuals would mean that they have a sense of righteous authority about them, a lot of dignity. But like a low-powered Sun or a sun in bad dignity would mean somebody that is self-absorbed and has major ego problems. So that's also what can happen when you're in a sun period. So if you're a low conscious person, you will become basically a self-absorbed narcissist during this period. So let's go back to the chart. We're going to take a look at sun. And I'm going to go ahead and clean up the chart just a little bit. And you notice, remember guys, sun is in the third house. And remember, I told you that third house has to deal with environments like going to the gym, being in a boxing ring. Those are the type of things that you see in the gym. And all of the promotional materials I've seen of him, of Logan Paul, have been him. You know, he's always working out, hitting punching bags and so forth, and he's at the gym. Literally, this is manifesting. When you guys look at houses in an astrology chart, a lot of times the literal meaning of the house is really the house that you're operating in. It's pretty intense. So the sun's going to give him that sense of he wants to be in the spotlight. Okay, Mercury, it rules his 6th and his 9th lord. So, you know, we got a little bit of influencing of the 6th lord there and the 9th lord. So, you know, there can be issues there. It's going to be a place where he works really hard because 6th lord means hard work. So this stuff. Sun with Mercury also does form something called Aditya Yoga, which means that you can be actually a highly intelligent person. A lot of people have Aditya Yoga because of Sun is so much, or Mercury is so often in close proximity of the Sun. So Mercury and Sun are like together a lot. So a lot of people have Aditya Yoga. I don't have Aditya Yoga. I have Mercury with Venus in my chart. And a lot of people have that one. So those are the inner planets. So the next thing we got to look at, guys, is so he's going to be in this Sun Mahadasha when the fight happens on June 6th, I believe. So the next thing we got to look at when we're looking at this chart is Sun's in the 3rd house. So we know he's going to be the star. He's going to be in the boxing ring, obviously. But it's activating this 8th house, which is a Dashtana house, okay? Now, so when there's a Dashtana house like that, which is an evil house, 8th house is really tricky to interpret, okay? 8th house can be very tricky. Because 8th house could be a sudden upset where maybe he would win and it would be very shocking and people wouldn't like know how to compute that this guy really won. So Sun has that shocking, 8th house has that shocking element to it. But then 8th house always kind of has that connotation of breaking things. So 8th house is tricky. It could be a sudden win or it could be a really catastrophic loss. So we know that this evil house is being activated. So it's like, okay, what the heck do we interpret with this? Because this could go either way. Now, we don't have Floyd Mayweather's chart in front of us to analyze. So we're just looking at Logan Paul's. The next thing we're going to look at, guys, is so the 8th house is going to be tricky. It's going to be shocking. Obviously, 8th house is going to represent this sudden rise to stardom, okay? Who the heck is able to get into the ring with Floyd Mayweather is going to be instant celebrity. Okay, so we definitely see he's being granted this instantaneous celebrity status through this fight. He's going to make boatloads of money with this fight. So no matter what, win or lose, Logan Paul's going to win in the fact that he's going to make all this money. He's going to make all this publicity for himself. That he stood in the ring with one of the best boxers in the world. He just has all this instant self-promotion, okay? And I'm looking at... Okay, so the one thing that... Okay, so there could be a shocking win there, obviously, with this thing. I wanted to let you guys know that. But this is the thing that we want to mix in with this, though. So check this out, guys. The next thing we can look at in the chart is, and we're going to look, and let me see if I have the chart. Okay, guys, the next thing we can look at, so we know 8th house is not a good house usually, so this is somewhat of a negative house for Logan Paul, but it could be sudden, it could be a sudden win or a sudden loss. It can kind of go either way. The next thing we can check when we're looking at the chart is we can look at where is Sun in relation to his moon? So this is what we're going to look a lot when we look at astrology charts, is we also want to use the moon as Lagna there, okay? And if you guys count 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on, and I'm just making marks here, look at where Sun is in relation to moon. It's 12th from moon, okay? And remember, 12th means losses, okay? So that's another indication of what's happening with this fight is, okay, 8th house, that could kind of go either way. There could be a sudden win, there could be a sudden loss. But then we look, Sun is 12th from moon. So it tends to lean me toward there's more of, I see it more likely he's going to lose this thing. Because 8th house already has that evil lordship. 8th house is already evil house. And then Sun is in 12th from moon. So it does make me feel that we're tending to go along this narrative of loss, which I'm seeing. Okay? So that's where I'm tending to go with this. But this 8th house can be just shocking. But I'm tending to think there's more factors indicating a loss here in the chart. Okay? The one thing that we can all agree on is that regardless of win or lose, and I tend to think he's more likely to lose, is he's going to get so much fame and celebrity out of this. So in a way, no matter what, it's a win for him. It's a win if he loses. It's a win if he wins. It's a win. Think about how far this kind of thing advances you in life. How many tens of millions of dollars are you going to get for this fight? How many, is he going to be, maybe if he continues his boxing career after this, say he loses to Floyd Mayweather and he continues his boxing career, well, it might be a good way for him to start his boxing career. Maybe he'll get out in the ring. And now he could say on his resume, I fought Floyd Mayweather. So it sets him up with all these things in life of what he could do. He's going to make a lot of money. He's going to become more famous. So all this stuff, he's going to win with the publicity. So that's the way I see it, guys. I see him mega winning. All right, mega winning with the publicity. But I do tend to think that this is leaning towards he's going to lose. 8th house. Sun rules the 8th house, and Sun's in 12th house, 12 houses from moon. This tends to, when we see two things overlapping, it tends to indicate he's going to lose. But like I said, it doesn't show, I don't know Floyd Mayweather's chart, so I can't know for sure. But I tend to see this being a loss, but stardom, okay? Well, guys, that's pretty much my analysis of Logan Paul. I think we're all excited to watch it anyways. Even win or lose, we're all excited to watch this fight and see how it pans out. And very excited. If you guys are always, if you're interested in your own private reading, make sure to check out my website, thorsandalwood.com. And you can always check out your own reading there, and we can go in depth. And what's cool about when you go to thorsandalwood.com is you can either get a private reading as an MP3. I send it as a link where you can just listen to it on your own. Or you can do a Skype session if that's what you want as well. So if you're shy, you can just get the MP4 and just listen to it in the convenience of your home or wherever you listen to it, So guys, I want to wish you many blessings today. Also, tonight I'm going to be live on TikTok as well. I'm doing astrology, like quick little astrology readings occasionally, but I'm also doing these things called oracle card readings. If this is something you're interested in, I do oracle card readings as well. I know mostly on YouTube we focus on Vedic astrology, but overall my brand is Thor Sandalwood. I'm kind of like a shaman and a New Age teacher as well. I see that there's a question in the chat, so let me take a look. Thor, what do you think about the Jupiter and Scorpio in his 11th house? Well, Jupiter is going to be 12th, third lord. Jupiter is in a neutral house there. And in the Navamsha, it's neutral. Or Navamsha, it's debilitated in Navamsha. So I think that in this case, I mean, we can already interpret that Jupiter in the 11th house. So it's Scorpio's a neutral house for Jupiter. It's neutral. But, you know, look at how much money he's going to make with this fight. So I would think overall Jupiter is going to be a great a boon for him. That he's going to make a lot of money from all of this. That's what I tend to see. And let me see where Jupiter is as far as moon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Jupiter is eight houses from moon, which can show sudden gains, sudden losses. So Logan Paul's got to be careful as well because Jupiter is the 3rd lord and the 12th lord in his 11th house. He's got to be careful for losses through friends. So I don't know if he likes to have large posses of people around him, but that could end up being a point of loss. So I'm probably going to do some astro readings, guys. I'm going to do some astro readings on YouTube too. I think that what I'm going to do for my next live stream, what I'm going to do, it's going to be, I'm probably going to do astrology readings for donations in the next, either tomorrow in the next few days, and I'll put that up, guys, for you. And we'll have a live reading, oracle, and just for donations show, okay? So we can have fun with that. Guys, I want to wish you guys many blessings, and I'll see you guys in the next one, okay? Thank you very much, guys.